Things that are going west at a rapid rate at Barcelona. They are over €1 billion in debt. They have been selling off TV and media stakes galore to bypass their wage infringements. They are going ahead with plans to redevelop the new camp, despite it costing $1.5 billion and them having no way whatsoever to pay for that. And to top it all off, they're about to crash out of the Champions League before the group stage has even finished. Apart from selling off areas of the club, such as Barcelona Studios and even the club's museum, the club has also been trying to reduce its wage bill by shipping off some of its high-paying stars. And there's some talk that they're trying to bring Lionel Messi back next summer. How they're going to do that, I have no idea. If they are forced to release some of their high-profile, highly paid stars, I think that's risky, considering their financial plans are based on participation in the Champions League and being successful on the pitch. Getting rid of your biggest players is going to be a tough ask to maintain that sort of success. They will go on the cheap. Just look at the Griezmann saga. He was signed for €110 million 3 years ago and sold for just €20 million. In the meantime, he was paid a salary of approximately €800,000. And there's many examples of that sort of mismanagement within Barcelona. Now, United are always up for trying to get a player on the cheap. When it comes to a transfer fee, I don't think we mind paying a good wage, but we would always try and reduce the transfer fee if we could. And I think United are also interested in playing the long game with some players as well. We've shown that we can maintain our interest across multiple managers, actually. And I think United would be patient in trying to bring in some of Barcelona's stars should they come on the market. And when you're at Barcelona, there's not many upward movements that you can make from Barcelona. There are a few lateral sort of movements and of course a lot of downward movements. Now, I think most players, despite the current situation with the Champions League and Manchester United being in the Europa League and all the things considered, most players still consider Manchester United to be more or less a lateral move from Barcelona. It's certainly not a step up. And even though some might consider it a little bit of a step down, it's certainly not a massive step down when it comes to prestige, if it is a step down at all. So I'm going to look at a couple of players that, should Barcelona have to jettison some players on the cheap to try and make all of the things that they need to happen, who could United come in for? Now, a surprising one that might make sense on some levels is Memphis Depay. Former United player that many have argued didn't get a real opportunity at Manchester United, and I think under Jose Mourinho that was definitely fair. He gave him 4 minutes. I think under Louis van Gaal he was given opportunities and was a little bit inconsistent. But since then he played in Ligue 1, was absolutely sensational and was rightly bought by Barcelona because he earned that move. He gained a lot of experience since leaving United, and he scored 76 goals, got 56 assists in just 178 games at Lyon. That shows you the levels that he managed to take it to while he was there. With Anthony Martial, showing how prone he is to injury, a versatile forward that could play down the middle or off one of the wings, like Memphis, could be a massive option for us. He's in his last year of his contract at Barcelona. I can't see them being able to renew him. That might be a player that United could get extremely cheap, even if it was just to take him off the wage bill. And it seems like, according to Sport over in Spain, that he's not in Xavi's plan. So that could be an option for United either in January or for sure, if they waive their transfer fee, or they're willing to waive their transfer fee January. But if not, then you could definitely pick him up in the summer on a free. Another one is a little bit of a rogue shout, but I actually think that there could be something in this, and that is Robert Lewandowski. So he only signed for Barcelona this summer, but he was done so on the promise that Barcelona would be turning a corner, and they haven't done that. Yes, they're currently top of La Liga, but the form in Europe has been horrendous, and it's proven that the club is nowhere near the top clubs in the other European leagues by a long stretch. And if it doesn't seem obvious that there's a project at Barcelona, then I think the signs could be that there is one at Manchester United. And if Barcelona's situation doesn't get even more desperate and force more players to leave the club, I wouldn't be surprised if Barcelona, with the Champions League money potentially going away, come and ask Robert to take a pay cut like they've done with players in the past, or try to renegotiate his contract. That could be enough to be like, do you know what? I think I'll leave it, actually. So, of course, he's on monstrous wages. He's 34 years old, so it would be another short-term striker, akin to the Zlatan, Cavani, Ronaldo signings that we've seen, and perhaps not ideal, but certainly someone that is still at the top of his game and absolutely shitting goals. His record at Bayern Munich, for those who didn't know, in 7 seasons was 344 goals in 374 appearances. Even at 33 years of age last season, he scored 50 goals. It's far-fetched. I'm not saying this is one that I think is likely to happen, but I think it could be an option when they're $1 billion in debt. And honestly, the level of fucks Barcelona give about their debt is almost admirable. But yeah, they're talking about a 1.5 billion stadium upgrade. I can see carnage happening with them. Anything is possible. And finally, the saga that never seemed to end in the summer, even though it was dead, possibly early doors, is the Frenkie de Jong one. Barcelona's highest paid player on €721 per week. That could come around again. Now, my worry would be United trying to match that wage and throwing out our own wages by doing so. That, I think, could be a mistake. Marca reported back in June the details behind the wage cut that he'd agreed with Barcelona to try and help the club out. That was money the club apparently were going to pay back to him. But the problem is that Barcelona's finances seem to be getting worse and not better, and he ain't getting his cash. He ain't getting what he's owed. That's why Barcelona tried to offload him during the summer, and I believe they're going to do the same again this year, if not in January. United do now seem to have a more balanced midfield, but they were desperate to bring Frenkie de Jong in. And even though Eriksen has been playing far better than expected, McTominay has improved, and we've got Casemiro seemingly up to match fitness, I think if United could get de Jong on the cheap and not pay him a stupid wage, he would be an incredible player to add to that midfield. And United competing in multiple competitions on multiple fronts, I think they would all play. And you're covered for injuries. There's no point just having 3 first-choice players. If you've got 4 for 3 positions, then you can account for injuries, which you're undoubtedly going to get. You can account for tiredness, and you can keep everyone just that little bit fresher. 4 into 3 goes very well. You know, when you start getting 5s and 6s, it starts becoming a problem, but equally as much of a problem as only having 3 first-choice players and having to rely on players you know aren't good enough to come in afterwards. So those 3 players are players I would look at bringing in. Barcelona's financial mess is not going to go away, and there is a reason that Barcelona are one of the main proponents pushing for the European Super League. In their eyes, it hasn't gone away. In their eyes, they're going to push back for it again. They're looking for the Hail Mary to pay their rent. They are going putting the Euro millions on to pay their phone bill. So I think Barcelona's financial crisis, there's clubs that are going to benefit from this on some level. If I'm Manchester United, I'm trying to bring in some of their talent as cheaply as possible. Anyone else that you would consider bringing in from the club? Anyone that you think would be worth Manchester United taking a look at? Any that you think could be a success? Do you disagree with any of the 3 that I mentioned? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.